JC, Ron Strong, and we're back with Killer B, KB, Skinny, and now we want to talk about the positive stuff that actually changed our lives because, you know, as you guys know, I did a bid after that, and I got out and made my connections.
What's a bid?
A bid is
not playing spades.
A bid is some time that you have to do with the federal government after I got indicted.
So a bid is you did a jail sentence.
I did a jail sentence, but got out. I'm reformed, and I am wrong strong. I am wrong too strong.
I am Batman.
So
only on the weekends.
Okay, so now
it's my stripper name.
What do you do now?
It's actually in Mexico. It's El Batman.
El Batman. So what do you do now? What do you do now? We live pretty boring lives now.
I go to work. I work hard all day. I come home. I cook. I clean.
He's married to a white woman.
I take care of my kids. I work some more. Take care of my family.
Work some more.
Work some more. And I live a pretty...
We live good lives.
We live ordinary good life. No stress of like watch your back or, you know, worrying about how you're going to feed your family the next day or worrying about what next kind of...
Strong, and we're back with Killer B, Skinny, KB, and a very good friend of mine. We spent 5 years up each other's...
Well, and then you forgot a name. 2 actually. Little Skinny Man was the original Skinny that transformed into Skinny, right? And then my stage name, which is Duke Lacrosse.
We were...
But I don't think you put that in.
We were very, very good friends
for
a long time.
1, 2, 3, serious.
So, after sharing all that stuff from Chicago and everything, we actually want to share the positive side of what we're doing now. You guys know what I'm doing now. I work at a gym. I have a nonprofit. I work at the prison. I do a lot of stuff that you guys pretty much wouldn't think I would be doing back in the day.
A lot of positive stuff, a lot of good stuff.
And you go to work every day, take care of your family, have a lot of toys in your garage.
So yeah, I went from
Popping Willies
wrong to strong. I wouldn't say I'm strong, but I'm getting there. Well, if I didn't have, all right, we'll talk about that later. So, started off rough and took a huge detour in life. Eventually got back on track, and now, yeah, I have, you know, my family's taken care of. I'm taken care of. I live a pretty ordinary life. I go to work. I come home. I cook and clean and take care of my family and the kids, and I go back to work. Come back home, cook and clean, take care of the kids. But yeah, so, you know, no drama, no violence, there's no drugs, there's no fights. It's a pretty productive life. So,
and that's the thing is that, you know, when you start surrounding yourself with different people and start making actually better choices, your life actually starts to change. And that's the number one thing that I wanted to share is that we had fun. It was
some good times, some bad
times, you know, and you know, a lot of these guys, you know, were surprised when I actually got put away and you know, came home, and they still, like, we never, you know, lost pretty much a day. When I came home, they were like happy to see me, and yeah.
Well, to see JC from an outsider looking in on your life, to see what you were doing then versus what are you doing now. If you were to ask me 10 years ago, or if you were to tell me 10 years ago, this is what JC would be doing, this is what he'd be involved in, all the positive stuff, the you know, going to prisons, talking to people, taking his time, right? You don't get paid for that.
Yeah.
So taking your personal time and trying to uplift, educate people that are going through some of the similar things you were going through, maybe 10 years ago. If you were to ask me, hey, this is what or tell me this is what he'd be doing now, I'd be like, yeah, okay. You and JC have been doing the same drugs, but it's amazing. It's great. I mean, I see him, I see you on your YouTube channel, I see you on Instagram, I see you on Facebook, and I see all these positive things you're doing for all these people. And now it's not just positive things you're doing for others, it's positive things you're doing for yourself, which is most important, because if you're not good yourself, you can't help other people.
Exactly.
So if JC wasn't solid, he wasn't taking care of himself, both mind and body, obviously. Wrong. It's all waterway. But he wouldn't be able to help some of these other people going through a similar struggles that maybe he was going through years ago. So people out there, you can't help the world until you help yourself. You got to help yourself first. You got to make sure you're good, and then once you're good and you're on the right, then you can start worrying about other people. So,
and this is why it was so important for me to actually get KB on my channel, is because it's important for people that actually see me at my worst to actually share the story of how they see me now.
And I wouldn't say it's at your best, because you still have, life's a journey. You still have a lot of room to grow. That's what wisdom is. That's when you get older, you go through stuff, you learn. It's okay to make mistakes, and I think go through whatever you went through, as long as you're able to not continue to make the same mistake and you learn from those mistakes and move on. Which I think back then, you kept making the same mistakes over and over and over again, and you weren't, but eventually something changed, something clicked, you ran into whatever it was. I think we've talked about it. I don't know if you told the YouTube viewers, but something changed, something whether scared you or finally made you wake up, and now you've been able to learn from those mistakes and continue to grow as a human being. You've never changed as a person. I believe you were the same person. You did back then a lot of shady shit. Maybe you were trying to be someone you're not, or the drugs or alcohol or whatever you were going through changed you as a person, and doing some things that you've always deep down, I think, been a good dude, and this has always been in you. It was just finding that.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell my stories that when I got to Victorville and somebody had just got stabbed for a piece of chicken, I was like,
I wasn't trying to laugh.
What am I? What am I?
They not feeding the person?
What am I doing here? Like, I was like, what? Why am I back here again?
That's pretty petty. So yeah, that would be like, wow. I mean, that's probably would emphasize that. Say, I'm in a place where people are literally stabbing each other over a piece of chicken,
and that's the life in that.
Which sounds funny and ridiculous, but I think that would
change
highlight. But what do they call that? Like magnify what a messed up situation that would be.
Yeah, and
going from a place where you could just, you're in the streets, you can walk in chicken anytime you want. Next, you're literally, it's survival of a piece of chicken.
Exactly. And there was blood all over the floor.
It wasn't even a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
No.
It wasn't even a Popeye's chicken. We're probably talking about a chicken.
It was
it was
prison
chicken.
A prison chicken. That's not so great. So, a lot of changes had to happen in my life, and I had to make them in a hurry, and that's what it is. And we're gonna go through these in like different episodes and chapters, and go through all this stuff, and we're gonna talk about all the, I guess you could say, the bad stuff and the good stuff. I mean,
well, you can't have the bad. You can't have the good without the bad. Like, I think I talked about in a previous episode, how I've embraced my past, because I don't think I could be the person I am today without going through all the struggle, all the poor choices, all the situations, and not be the person.
It molds you.
It molds you into the person you are today. Whereas I had a conversation, like I said, with a friend, a good friend of mine, same situation I'm in, same background, kind of same journey, and same success. We're at the same success right now. He doesn't embrace his past, and I think we had a good conversation last time I seen him, where he's going to start. He's actually would hide from it and was embarrassed and everything. I said, that's not the. at the end of the day, it makes you who you are. You were that person back then. You're the same person. So to deny yourself of your past isn't being truthful,
That's
for
not
one,
being
and you
truthful.
can't, so I don't. Look, I did a lot of messed up stuff. I treated a lot of people ways you shouldn't be treating people.
You were an asshole back then.
Yeah. And I was even, if you think I was an asshole back when I knew him, I was back in my late teens. And I'm embarrassed. I look back now and I'm like, fuck. And I've apologized to people. And I've went back and because I've grown and I see, and you look back and you're like, wow, how could I treat people like that? Why could I do these things? How could I put my family through these things? And, but luckily, true family and friends, they see that,
They see the growth.
well, they see the growth, and
It's
they
just
know
like KB, like when I came home and I actually, wanted to like apologize about how I acted, and because I'm not gonna lie, like I started making, money, and I started to change, and KB, Tito, I had some very good friends in that time that they would actually keep me kind of like, they would put me in a circle, and I wouldn't be able to leave that circle until they weren't around, drug wise and stuff like that. They would kind of keep me safe. But then I started kind of pulling away and started hanging out with different people, and I started to change. I started to become a bigger asshole, I guess you could say. I started to ignore my friends.
Scottsdale Julio, that's what I call him. And we were just talking about this off camera, is that his perspective when he was in the Rough Riders was that he was, going through all this stuff, this, that, and the other. But when I was telling him, it's like, but when you're in the Rough Riders, I think you had a good enough support group, good enough people around you that kept him from really going down the deep end. But once you strayed away from that, the Tito's, the Knox, the Blues, the Sundance, all these, although they're good guys, but although we were, doing a bunch of, we were out there having fun, still we were a support group. We kept you
Leveled,
right? As soon as then he started hanging around with different people, but I will say, you needed that because you had to go through that journey, right? You had to go out there and become Scottsdale Julio. It's tight shirts and This is before tight shirts are in right now. This is before tight shirts were in. Well, I guess they were in Scottsdale, but the Affliction shirt or the
V-necks,
the
they're called
V-neck,
V-necks.
yeah, whatever. But
and it was Black Label.
yeah, so but you had to do that, and you had to go to prison, and you had to go through whatever you went through traumatically to wake up to become the person you are today.
Ron
you had
Strong.
to make that to become Ron Strong. That journey had to happen. And that's why I embrace my past, because to make myself who I am today, I had to go through whatever my trials and tribulations were and all the mistakes. And luckily they weren't so bad to where I wasn't able to come back. And it's the same deal with you. Like, you keep talking about all those messed up things you did, but if you didn't do all that, you would never be Wrong and Strong.
Exactly.
So you had to be.
I embrace my past. I embrace
FY, Scottsdale Julio. We used to be. It's another chapter. No, I didn't like that guy.
I
Was it Scottsdale JC?
I was Scottsdale Julio.
Yeah.
I was making money. I was making moves. I
Thought he was cool.
thought it was cool.
And I'm going to tell
Forgot
you.
about my friends.
Well, I'm going to tell you, youngsters. It's funny. I'm an OG now, right? That's what they call me, an OG. Like I'm older, and the path we're on is long-term, sustained success, right? Like, I could do what I'm doing as long as I go to work every day and give 110% and work my ass and do what I need to do. I don't have to worry about the cops kicking my door down. I don't have to worry about people bugging my phone. I don't have to worry. I will have long-term success doing where I'm at. JC here doing his Wrong and Strong, as long as he keeps putting up these videos, as long as he keeps saying positive, doesn't go off the tracks and start doing drugs or partying or I shouldn't say partying, because you should go partying right? Once in a while, like little drinks and whatever, people disco. So do they disco still?
No.
Are we that old? That's sustained long-term success with no work. There's nothing going to. Now, Scottsdale Julio Although, probably had more money, I would say, than you have now.
Yes.
Probably had more girls,
Yes.
more out there street cred, and people looking like, oh, like, glamorous, all this other stuff. But that
Popping
doesn't
bottles.
last forever.
Popping bottles and it didn't
well,
last
obviously
forever.
it doesn't last forever.
It only
But
lasted for a year.
it eventually, you're gonna get. So this is what I'm gonna say. I moved out here from Chicago 20 years ago because a cop kept messing with me. He was a sergeant. I forget his name, but and I'd been working. I was doing all the right things. I got in my trouble in the past, and I was trying to be a good person. I was trying to change, and he kept telling me, "Oh, I got pulled." Anyway, he was messing with me. I said, "Why do you keep messing with me?" He's like, "I'm doing all these things," and he's like, "Well, no matter what you do, you will always be seen as that punk kid that was doing all those stupid things, right?" And I said, "Well, what? That's not fair. What can I do to change it?" He goes, "Nothing." "Well, you can do three things. You either die, go to prison, or move." So I moved, and I came to Phoenix.